Just because you've always done something a certain way or were taught to do it a certain way doesn't mean you have to keep doing it like that. Whether it's how you clean your house, preserve your food, raise your kids, or live your life, you get to redefine it. So this episode of Cozy Notes was inspired by a cozy fantasy novel, a nostalgic memory, and a jar of small batch jam. So today we're talking about the quiet, beautiful rebellion of doing things differently than you were taught, and how freeing it is to let go of the big, overwhelming right way in favor of something smaller, simpler, and more you. We're often raised to believe there's a right way to do things, the way our parents did it, the way our culture does it, the way Instagram says we should do it. And those ideas get baked in so early, we often don't even question them. But here's the thing, those expectations, they get heavy, especially for women, especially for moms, especially when we're trying to be all the things to all the people. Even in something as sweet and homey as jam making, we carry this pressure to go big or do it right. And when something feels too big, we often don't start at all. So here's where the jam comes in. Growing up, I used to make jam with my great grandmother, and we would harvest the cherries from her cherry tree. She had like this wild cherry tree in our backyard, and the cherries were like super tiny. And we would gather all the cherries and have like buckets and buckets of them. And then we would make jam with it, or make jelly, or yeah, I think it was jelly that we actually made, not jam, because the seeds were so small that we had to like strain it out. So I think we would make, I don't even remember. I don't remember exactly how we'd make it, but we would make a lot. And so I always thought that's how you made jam. You made jam in giant quantities, you know what I mean? Enough to last for the year or two. And it wasn't until I started reading The Spell Shop, which is like this cozy fantasy book. And in the book, the main character sets up like a jam shop because her parents used to make jam. So she set up a jam shop in front, and then in the back was like where she lived and also where she had like these secret magical books. But reading this book kind of got me into making jam, but also it kind of made me rethink how I used to make jam and how I can make jam today. Like, we don't have a large house. I don't have a large pantry. I don't need to be making enough jam to last us for the whole year. Instead, I can just make small batch jam. And it was like, oh my gosh, why did I just realize this? And on top of that, I also watched With Love, Megan. Is that what it's called? With Love, Megan. And she was making just like a small pot of jam, blackberry jam. And I'm just like, okay, why, why, why am I not doing that? Why did I think I only had to make large batches of jam and not just a small batch jam? And so came my summer journey of making small batch jam. So far, I've made cherry jam, I've made strawberry jam, blackberry jam, raspberry jam, blueberry jam. And maybe it's not really jam. Maybe it's more preserves or something because I'm not using as much sugar as a traditional jam recipe would call for, but it's the same to me. I'm not a purist here. And I think next I'm going to be making peach jam because we have a lot of peaches and stone season is here. And the whole thing about making small batch jam is it's just one jar. It's just enough. And it's like delightful. And it's not overwhelming at all. And it feels good. And it's become like a simple little ritual. And it kind of tastes like freedom. And that jam became a metaphor for everything else. What else have I been avoiding because I thought it had to be big? Where else have I been following someone else's idea of right and burning myself out in the process? And it made me realize I can take this small batch approach to other parts of life too. 1, redefine what enough looks like in my home. 2, do less and call it good enough. 3, let go of the need to provide something by going all in. And because small is sustainable, small is still worthy. Small is enough. It's enough. So some reflection questions for you. What's something I've avoided because it felt too overwhelming or too much? Where am I holding on to someone else's idea of how life should look? And what's one thing I could try doing my way this week? Just a small batch. Like everyone thinks that we need to do big things in life, but we don't. It's the small things that build up, that make lifelong changes. And we just have to really reframe our mindset around it. And it takes time. It takes gentle reminders. And that's one of the reasons why I created Anchor In. So if this idea of doing life a little differently on your own terms, in your own way, in small little batches appeals to you or resonates with you, then I invite you to join me in Anchor In. Anchor In is my 6-week guided audio experience that starts on August 4th. So each week I'm going to send you voice notes straight to your Telegram app with simple grounding support to help you create space, reclaim your time, and realign with what matters. There are no Zoom calls because it's the last thing we need. There's no homework, there's no pressure, there's no course to take. It's just small batch, sustainable shifts that help you slow down, reset, and feel like yourself again. And you can find all the details down in the show notes below. I'd love to have you join us. And until next time, go make the jam. Just one jar, that's all you need to do. And that's more than enough. Okay, I love you guys. Ciao.